So let's get started with why you're all here. So we actually have 3 speakers today, and I would like to welcome the 3 of them. We have Petra, she is the CPO at Kiwi.com. We have Monika, she is the co-founder of Czechitas, and we have Adéla, she is a freelance illustrator. And today's talk, I'm sure you all know because you signed up for it, it's about work-life integration. So we have 3 different women. We have an executive, a co-founder, and a freelancer. So 3 different perspectives. We can find some similarities, some overlaps, but I'm sure it'll be a great talk. So welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Happy to be here with you guys.
Yes.
Hello, guys. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you.
We are very happy to have the 3 of you. So, like I mentioned, we have 3 different perspectives going on here, and it's interesting to see what the 3 of you think. So in the book, Pick 3, You Can't Have It All, Just Not Every Day, by Randy Zuckerberg, he says that everyone wants to have it all, don't we? Yeah, but we want to work, we want to get enough hours of sleep, we want to have enough social life, we want to be fit, have friends, families, but there are only 24 hours in a day. We all have, the same amount of hours in a day. He says that if we focus on just some areas every day, they don't have to be the same areas, and we prioritize, that really helps us. What do you think about this approach of like selecting certain amounts of things? Let's say maybe today is fitness, personal, like my family, and of course work. What do you think about this approach that he has? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And what is your approach to having it all? And I put it in quotations because it's nearly impossible to have it all, but having it all per se.
Yeah, definitely. Like all the things that you mentioned, definitely require a lot of time and dedication, as you said. So it's nearly impossible to have everything. But the approach that you mentioned is actually quite good, I would say. Me personally, I'm not using that exactly like this, but basically choosing, and whatever number it can be 3 or 2 or 4 things that you want to focus on, definitely sounds as a good way. What works for me is that basically whenever I take from some time from, for example, from my family, I'll always try to counterbalance it. So already thinking, when I have to stay long at work, or there's like harder week or something, then I try to counterbalance it with something else. So the next week or the next time when we are with the family, basically really trying to focus only on them and be with them fully, instead of thinking about the work and about the fitness and that I'm not running or I'm not doing this and that. So focusing on the thing that I'm doing usually works for me the best.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you for that.
I also agree with Petra. I love the message, and it's good to know how to prioritize your preferences, your goals. And if I should add something, I love doing, for example, some things together. I love doing sports together with my friends, or I love doing making some trips together with my family. So I also trying to put more categories together as well.
Yeah, that's smart. Making the most out of your time.
I totally agree. I'm trying to connect more than one part of my life, but I'm not trying to be the best human ever in every part of my life. So I'm trying to be probably like good person and stay with my family as long as possible and work and sleep, yeah, and friends and fitness. It's I think it's really hard. Every day is different, and thanks that I'm a freelancer who works from home, I'm probably many days in a week I'm like prioritize work, family, and thanks God I'm an introvert, so friends and fitness and more extroverted things are maybe on weekends and maybe like 3 times per year. So it's not that important, these parts of my life.
Okay.
Actually, what Monika mentioned is what describes how to make the most of it, to combine the things that you actually can. I think that's really the way to connect the dots and the way to choose what you want to focus on. As you mentioned, exactly like doing sports with friends or with family, or doing the trips with someone else. It's a great opportunity to connect the worlds together. Because otherwise there are so many things that we would have to do that, yeah, as Adéla mentioned, we cannot be perfect humans, so we just need to somehow make it the best.
Make it the best, and also acknowledge that we can't be perfect, right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Definitely. So were there any times that in your life you picked career over personal life for whatever circumstance that may be? And if yes, do you have any regrets about that now? Or would you do it again because it's led you to where you are now?
Well, I can start. Yes, I definitely did. But I did it again because I think it's quite normal. During my years at the university and shortly also thereafter, when I had my priorities and goals to work on my career and secure myself. But it's quite naturally. Also, especially if you are a woman, unfortunately, according to Jordan Peterson, a Canadian psychologist, he says that the girls need to grow up faster than boys because we need to plan our career and also plan our family and having a kids earlier. So boys are growing up a little bit later, but we have to grow up faster. So yeah, after my college, definitely. But right now, during my motherhood, there is very important also to have right now another goals and more free time and goals for your health and raising your kids. So less maybe to have less work, but definitely it's according to your life goals and your life stage. So I think it's okay sometimes work harder, also
Yeah.
during the crisis if you have time and space.
Yeah, totally agree with that. That it really depends on your stage of the life as well. Yeah, like I would like sign to what Monika like basically said, like during the studies or afterwards, like basically focusing on whatever was needed or whatever. It was also fun, right? It was not only about like working, but as I'm a mother as well, this was actually one of my toughest decision that I had to make, basically, whether I want to stay at the position where I'm now or whether I want to focus more on my daughter, because I knew very well that it's not working like you just said to yourself, okay, so I'm now in this nice fancy role, and I also will be like on 150% great mother, and I will be able to combine those two together like perfectly. So basically I had to decide whether I want to stay at home with her or whether I want to continue with my career. And that was quite hard, and what I would do it again. I would continue in my role, but I have to mention that basically it's just thanks to the whole context that we have set with my partner, because he's at home with her, which is like totally not normal thing in the Czech Republic mainly. But for me, the most important was to get her whatever she needs, and then when I knew that the context and like the setup and everything will be there for her, then I was quite sure that I can actually continue with my work. So I think that I would do that again, but with one kid it's probably much easier than with more kids. So maybe when we see each other in a few years, I will be talking differently then. but yeah, it's not easy. So you always have to sacrifice something, or you need to have a really strong partner by your side to support whatever you do.
Yeah, I have it quite similar. During my studies, I worked like super hard all the time. Even now, because I'm haven't kids yet, so I'm still working as much as I can, because I want to be like more safe later, maybe with kids. We are planning kids, so I want to be more safe with my money, with my career. So yeah, during studies it was still the hardest part of my life, because I was like everyday student and work like full-time designer and graphic designer. So it was crazy. It's quite similar.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so there was mentioned the partners. So choosing the partner for your life can affect your career, maybe positively and negatively, or negatively. How do you and your partner make it work, whether you have kids or whether you don't have kids? How is that support of a partner crucial in not only your career development, but when it comes to that integration of work and life?
Yeah, so maybe I will just continue with what I started with the speech before. Basically, for us, what really works is to communicate things through. I know that it might sound obvious, but like you sometimes really need to say things out loud, because the other one, even though he or she knows you for ages and probably knows what you think, cannot really read your mind. So I mean, it's sometimes better to say it out loud and really talk things through, and also set the expectations that we have from that. So I mean, of course, sometimes it happens that things change, but if the partner has the correct expectations, also like how much you want to work, how much you want to be at home with them, what they can expect, what time they can expect you to be home and stuff like this, I think that it really works. Not only the partnerships, but also like the work-life balance that you mentioned. And then what works for us is also like planning ahead, if that's possible. Of course, we need to be flexible, because sometimes things just change quickly. But like the hardest thing about making any decisions is to being blind, not to know like what's going on. So I think that even if it's like a planning a day with the kids, this is really hard, and if you don't know what to expect. So this works for us. And then what I mentioned before, basically work hard, play hard. So focus on work when I'm at work, not trying to think about, oh my God, what's happening at home. I know that she's safe with her daddy, and that's all okay. And then when I get home, try to really dedicate the time for them as much as I can.
Perfect. I also agree a lot with Petra. I think I'm like a planning guy. I do planning for everything. And it works for me to plan not only work time, but also my leisure time, my activities, sports, also dates with my husband. So, but it teaches me to be very flexible, because sometimes it's not going right, and you have to not be disappointed if something changes, and you need to be flexible and realistic as well. So yeah, planning is also good, and communication, be very open and inspire each other, and respect your free time, your own time that you need as well.
Right. And speaking about communication, so communication with your partners is crucial with this whole work-life balance, work-life integration. Communication with your supervisor or your boss, if you have one, or a co-founder, like in your case, Monika, I would also say is very crucial when it comes to this work-life integration.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that we way too often assume that the other person actually knows what we think or what we have. So, just because I am a mother and I have a kid at home, it doesn't mean that, I don't know, my boss will know that every Monday at 4 p.m. it would be better for me if I can go home because we have a swimming lecture. He just possibly cannot. I know that this is like extreme example, but sometimes it's better to just not to be afraid and really open the conversation, even though it might not be like pleasant or easy, because just the other person cannot know what you want, what do you need, and if it's, I believe that if it's at least a bit possible, your boss or your supervisor will try to find out a way how to set it up. Of course, not every time it's possible. You probably cannot go home every day at 12 or at lunch or something. We would all like it, right? But at least for me, as I am like in both roles, like being a supervisor and also like having a supervisor, I can say that this works perfectly for me. So when one of my teammates come to me and tell me, hey, you know what, this Friday I need to go earlier, will it be possible? Like, why not? I mean, if they do their job, it's great to allow them, what we can. And at the same time, I'm very happy that I have great support from Oliver, our CEO. So just don't be afraid to open the conversation, even though it might seem unrealistic at the beginning.
Maybe intimidating.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, so going along with that, the influence of a company's culture, along with your passion of your job, also attributes to aiding with this work-life integration. It's important to in my opinion, to love what you do, and it seems to ease this integration a little bit more. I know, Petra, we've spoken about that before, so would you like to talk more about that?
Yeah, sure. So definitely I agree with what you said. Basically, I cannot imagine that I would work or I would do something that I don't love or I don't have any passion about. I think that as we all spend so much time working, like just, spending it with something that we hate, it sounds like a waste of our precious time. So I'm a big believer in doing what we like, and of course it doesn't mean that all the items in my like daily agenda are those that I prefer. Sometimes it's very hard for me to jump on something else. It's challenging, and I need to step out of my comfort zone like daily. But that's what is moving us forward, right? So that's where we learn the most. But back to your question about the culture, I think that if the company is able to support being that work-life balance, or being that just being good humans, it's very helpful. And I believe that at the end of the day, people can actually contribute much more to the company when they are happy and when they know that their company also supports them, like not just salary wise, but also like in a different means. And as we have now the corona situation all over the place, as you all know, or kiwi.com is selling flights, so basically a travel business. So it's impacting us heavily. But like I can see so much of help from the team. They are also passionate about the company, and it's like it's making you so proud to see that that guys from your teams are actually really trying honestly to help you. It's not like, you know, just working for money, but having the passion. And I think that if the culture supports this, then it's like a win-win for both sides.
So
Yeah, I agree. I believe that you have to have the same values as your company, as your employer. And in my case, even before I was planning a child, I left a classic job and I wanted to be my own boss. So 5 years ago, I joined my colleagues and started Czechitas. I'm very happy that our environment is exactly very flexible, very focused on social business, to helping another people, especially women, with their digital skills. But we have great work rules, I guess, and great culture, even before our crisis, economical crisis and pandemic. We have some office days. We are able to work from home. I did lots of meetings with my baby, also interviewing candidates with my baby. So I'm very happy that I can work in this environment. And I think it's very important to have the colleagues and environment to helping you if you want to work as a mom as well.
thank you. And Adéla, as a freelancer, how do you organize your day, like to combine work, family, and so on? And how do you designate your workspace? I know being a freelancer and an illustrator, Adéla, like it's a lot. So how do you manage that?
Sorry, I will answer the previous question.
Oh, okay,
Sorry,
go ahead.
because when you have a customer, I think you must behave like it's your boss or your company. Because I won't work only with people what I admire, who I admire, and I want like be part of their company for a little time. So I prefer work with like nice people with good like company culture and company mood. So it's important to talk about this with them too, and like share my life or work life with them too. Like if I'm sick, they can't read my mind, so I need to talk about this too. And if I want to have a kids, it's must be part of the communication too. So it's my advice for anybody who wants to be a freelancer. It's really important to like have this on your mind.
Yeah, definitely. It just goes to show once again that communication, no matter what industry,
Like
where
share communication.
is really crucial to this work-life integration and overall your well-being as a person. Because if you can't manage this work-life integration, you'll probably burn out or you know, just give up everything and say I can't do it anymore. It's good to have like this work-life balance, definitely. Yeah. So going back to the other question that I addressed to you, Adéla, yeah, how are you able to, as a freelancer, to really like organize your time? Because there really isn't, like, let's say a 9 to 5, and you know, we're all experiencing, not all, but most people are experiencing, you know, working remotely. How do you set up your workspace and things like that?
Yeah, because during my studies, I study quantum physics. So the school quite taught me how to combine my skills with time and my like work. So the school told me you must organize your time. So yeah, I'm trying my best. Wake up every morning in the same time. Work from like 8:30 to 4:40. So like normal life. It's not possible every day do this regime, but I'm trying my best. My workspace, it's quite same as my leisure time space, like my desk and in my computer, but my leisure time is totally different because my work is quite only digital work. And after work, my leisure time is about creating stuff with my hands in real life, like sewing and I don't know, painting, whatever. So it's totally different. So in my mind is like I'm stopping now and doing totally different things. Yeah, and my family, I'm super lucky that my fiance is a theoretical physicist, so it's quite unusual because if you ever seen a Big Bang Theory, he is like a combination of Leonard and Sheldon Cooper. So it's interesting communication with him all the time. So I learned how to be super straight, go, if I want something, I need to communicate it super straight, even with my work and things. So I'm super lucky in this. So yeah, something like that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So now with the coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, however we want to call it, like I mentioned before, most people who can are working remotely, and it's not something that maybe they're used to doing all the time, or maybe they just never did it. So it's quite a different time for some people, and there is no really strict line between work and life, especially when you're working from home, and especially since it's like the whole world is on the quite the same page, right? It's not like, oh, people from one country are working from home and then other people are not. It's pretty across the world. How do you make sure that you work the right amount of time? Do you make sure that you work the right amount of time? Do you still make sure to schedule family time or to create some sort of schedule? Like how are you dealing with this this like work-life integration, but also separating the two and creating some sort of boundaries?
Yeah, so for me, I'm not sure like whether I would call like say that I'm working the right amount of hours. For me, it's probably a bit more than for a usual person. But anyway, of course I try to integrate as much other life as I can. So I have a small table and a chair in our bedroom, so that I have like a space where I work, and I try to work here most of the time. So that for me, it's kind of like working environment, although it's in a bedroom, full of other stuff. And then I try to really schedule and plan even like the private stuff. So I literally have some most important highlights in my calendar, like going for a run or practice something, or some blockers that actually like say to my brain when I see it, hey, you have a different schedule now, go and do it. Like and what I think that is helping is to have some kind of trigger that helps you to like switch from work world to home world, even though you are still at home, but something that just tells you hey, you are now supposed to be focusing on something different. So for myself, it's usually that I just grab my little one and play with her, or I do a short exercise or something like that, just to clean my mind. But for someone else, it can be, you know, walking with your dog, or I don't know, having a beer or whatever you guys prefer. Just some kind of mechanism that actually shows you to like, okay, now I should turn it off and switch.
For me, it worked before the crisis when I was working outside, having a shower to just take off all your thoughts and everything from your job and just concentrate on your family.
Great idea. I need to try that one.
Yeah, I have advice: don't be harsh on yourself. I think this time is really difficult for many people, and if you are not able to do normal stuff as usual, usually as you normally do, don't be harsh on yourself. It's really hard to work from home every day the same. If you have a kids, it must be crazy. Yeah, don't be hard on yourself, please.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Great advice. Do you all follow like some sort of schedule? Like if you normally before, like, you know, working from home all the time, you woke up at like 6:30, got ready. Do you still follow some sort of schedule, or like from time to time say, you know, today I'm actually going to change out of my sweats and wear like normal clothes? Is there any other thing like part of your previous routine that you are like sticking with, aside from obviously meetings and emails?
Yeah, so for myself, what still works is that I still am able to convince myself to do at least a little bit of makeup in the morning, because I have so many calls that you know, I would just feel bad, and even though it, you know, sometimes the face is not even visible on the Zoom call, it doesn't matter that much, but it's kind of like helping me to start a day. So you know, just something normal. And then usually I have quite packed schedule during the day, and finish once I finish, basically I have like at least 2 hours or something for my daughter to play around with her and stuff, and then either me or my partner goes with her to put her into bed. So I think that we actually have a kind of similar schedule as we had before. It's just some of the things are not maybe even like artificial, that's probably a not correct word, but you know, just setting it as I would be like in the office, like trying to have it that, okay, now I work, so you know, I should probably, you know, have my glasses on, have the hair done and stuff. So I still trying to like stick to these like normal things.
Yes, I also agree. I like to having some habits, some rules, and you also can realize some benefits from when you are working from home. For example, you don't need to travel a lot to your work. You can save some time for your free time for yourself. But what Adéla said is very important, to be also relaxed and not to be all the time on your Facebook, Instagram, and the news from the TV about the crisis, about this stuff what's happened right now, and also be with your family. It's very it depends on your life stage. If you are a mom, definitely this is the main role you have to do, or if you are the one who is working in the family, definitely you need to work harder. So it depends what is your position as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my routine normally, but nowadays I haven't so much work. The deadlines are pushing away, and the type of my work is different these days. Yeah, it's hard, but I'm trying to work on my portfolio, on my website, like streaming every day. It's new for me, so yeah, I'm doing new things. That's good. I'm trying, but on the other hand, it's super weird. Like wake up and like not be able to work normally on some, I don't know, like book cover on or website or something like this, because I haven't this type of work now. So yeah, it's difficult to be able to sit down and work on something, I don't know, without customer. So I'm the only customer now. So it's weird, but super new and nice. I'm trying to be positive and work as much as I can.
Yeah.
So it's different.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think, Adéla, that you just mentioned one very important thing, like whether we are now like in some kind of like corona crisis or whether not. I think that what's really important is to stay positive. So even though that some days might not be the best, even though that sometimes, you know, you don't do everything as you wanted, being that, you know, spending enough time with family or with friends or running or something, then I think yeah, you should still take it like positively, because every time there is like the other side of that. So you probably did something new, or you know, you just came across some like tough obstacle or something like that. So I think that's what is really important in any time, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, the three of you, for giving us all this information and your insights and your experience. Right now, I would like to open it up to the participants for any questions that they may have. It can be a general question. It can be a question directed to one of the speakers. So if you have any questions, feel free to type away in the chat, and I'll be looking for them. So any questions? Don't be shy.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a question to Monika. First of all, thank you for organizing this. It was really helpful, I think, for everybody. Monika, you said that you used to have meetings or interview candidates with your child. How old was your child, and did that change when you grew up a bit more?
Yeah, this is a good question. Yeah, I was working more when my child was smaller, when she was a baby. And with her aging, growing up, it was harder and harder, of course. So I guess my first year when she was born, she was sleeping a lot, so I could work a lot. But after she catch the 1 year, I need to a little bit slower. And from the research, I know that the perfect time for moms with the kids like 2 years and more, it's like 30% of the full-time work it's like I do. But you never know. Sometimes your kids might be more sleepy, more calm, but sometimes not. So you have to plan very carefully and sometimes adjust your plans after 3 months or 1 month as well.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, so we have Katerina. She says, hi there, I have a general question for all of you. You all have agreed that it is very important to know your passion and work for a customer, employer, who are in line with it. I myself am in a stage of finding my passion. How did you know what your passion is? That's a good question. Thank you, Katerina.
May I start, please?
Of course.
Yeah. During my from my childhood, I love art. My grandma said, you will be an architect. And I said, no, please no, because I hate like building not that pretty skyscrapers and things. So I wanted to be a paleontologist and physicist and scientist and stuff, and do art too. So my passion was all over table. And during my studies on university, I picked that art and graphic design is like more passionate than for me, because I was used to work like 11 hours per day on my study, but it was really hard. I pushed myself every day to do the stuff, but if I work on some nice things like illustration, I'm able to work like from 6 p.m. 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. without anything, like without interruption. So yeah, that's my passion more than physics.
Yeah, I guess that you just said it, that basically sometimes we don't know like what our passion is. It's hard, but then when you are doing something and you just see that you are doing that all the time, and it's not like, oh my God, when the shift is ending, and you enjoy that, then it's your passion. I myself studied political science, and then had some like part-time job with some IT company, and that's like I like started slowly there, and that's how I actually find out that this is actually what attracts me more. Even though I enjoyed the study, it was like nice topic. I'm still interested in this. You know, it's different. Like now I know that, okay, this is my passion actually, because you probably cannot just say, so now what my passion will be. You just need to, live it, and then you will know that that's the thing.
Yes, I totally agree. Basically, I also deal with the career changes with my clients, like on one-to-one consultations or at my career workshops. And according to the statistics, women are more generalists. So we can do, we are good during our school time at math, we are good at history, at foreign languages, and only a few kids actually know their passion in their childhood. So it's pretty normal that you don't know what your passion is, and the way how to find is just do it, and just trying and trying different work, different job positions, different fields, different segments, exploring yourself, what you like to do, what you don't like to do. And it's totally okay that you don't know, because normally lots of people don't know. And with the routine, with the habits, and with the trying, you will create like the stage that you really like to do, and you will create your dream job. Basically, I also says my clients, dream job doesn't exist, you need to create it. So it's also according to your values, and trying. Yeah, this is the only advice. Just try, go and try.
Great, and we're good with that one. All right, and Danielle. Hi, Danielle. So there has been a lot of material out over the years about leaning in and having it all. Has there been any specific literature or person that has really inspired you? Deep question.
Great one, actually. I'm thinking whether there was like any specific book or something like that, and I don't think so. I have read quite many of them. Maybe like it's not connected directly. It was not about work-life balance by default, but a book about growth mindset kind of helped me to look at the things differently. So basically, it's about like not being just fixed in whatever you think you are good at, but basically trying to go through the challenges and going out of the comfort zone. And I think that for me, it's also connected for the work-life balance, because to some extent, balancing it or finding the balance. It's also like sacrificing some of the stuff either at home or at work. It's not like you have it just all by default. It's a hard work, never-ending work, I would say. But at the same time, I think that it's doable. And as I mentioned before, I think that if you have the correct expectation set with your partner, with your boss, with whoever, then it can work. But I don't have any other tips. I'll think about it, and maybe we can share afterwards after this session.
Sure.
From my point of view, according to work-life balance, your life goals, my most favorite books are really about doing some exercises, what you really like and what your career should looks like. And I love the book, I know all the names in Czech, but I will try to translate Personal Business Model, and also Designer of Your Life from the Bill Burnett, and also Your Own Startup, I guess this is the call. It's from the founder of the LinkedIn, and he deals how to make the networks in your life, not only for the LinkedIn online world, but also for your offline world, because our connections is very, very important also when you are looking for a new job and new positions. Usually online on some job portals, there is only like 30-50% of what you can really get from the market, and the best positions and best job offers are taken through referrals, through recommendations. So it is the way how it works right now. So the book is about how to create the relationships and big network.
Yeah, I guess that at the end of the day, you have to find your own principles anyway. But it's good to have the inspiration for sure. Yeah.
For me, it's like a combination of not specific book or literature, but combination of my mother, my sister, my father, and people around me, my fiance. And maybe like fairy tales, I'm really into it. So like Cinderella and stuff. Yeah, I'm weird, but I realized when I was imprisoned in Japan, in my I worked there as a for free as a woofer. It's like person who work for free on farm, like on field. I don't know the name right now. Yeah,
like a work, like you
volunteer.
Volunteer.
So I was there for 2 months, and I realized that I really need only few things in my life: my love, my fiance, and my family, and maybe a little money. So yeah, that was all. Oh, I'm so sorry for the noises.
It's okay.
Yeah. And according to multitasking, I think everyone knows Get Things Done, the book. And the shorter book, very, very useful to do in practice, Zen and Done. It's like the short list of the Get Things Done.
Thanks for sharing. Awesome. So there is another question specifically for Adéla. It's from Anna. Hello, Anna. She says she is a freelance, also a freelance creative, and she loves illustrating, but finds it very tough to find illustration clients. How do you find yours?
Yeah, during my studies, I work as a volunteer for many companies for free, and nowadays they hire me for work for money. Yeah, and I'm trying to like spread my work all over the internet. That's the most, yeah. It's really important, because if you are amazing creator, even though you will haven't find any work because nobody knows that you have a really awesome illustration. So you need to put your work on Behance, Dribble, Facebook. Facebook is super important these days, and Instagram too. You need to like work every day on your like social profile that you are like without like spotless, that your life is really all about art. That's weird, I know, it's like faking it, but if you love art, it's like presenting all over your social platform the same, that you love art and you do art every day. So because I realized like 3 years back, that many of my friends doesn't know that I do illustrations, even though I work as an illustrator for 6-7 years now. So it was shocking for me, and I started to post more frequently on Facebook and or all over the place that I do this stuff. Yeah, that's my advice. Show your work to people.
Again, communication.
Communication.
That's like the big message. Communication gets you a long way, right? Yeah. And this is a question from Monika. Hi, Monika. So it's a question for all three of you. When your work is your hobby/passion, do you have any tips how to avoid burnout?
Having a kid. And you have to stop a little bit. Definitely. Yeah. This is my medicine.
That is so true. Yeah, I can confirm. No, but I think that for me, it's not the only hobby/passion. So I also like do try to do a few more things. So I guess that having these things that you enjoy is great, and basically it's trying to maybe not like balance it like 100%, but having also like all these little other things that you like, you know, to have the walks in the nature, or run, or something that you enjoy is good. And it also and now maybe I will contradict myself, but you know, when you have the time to go out for running, it actually helps you to think, and you like it, then it helps you to think also about the work in a different way. You clean your head, and at the same time you are able to focus your mind a bit differently. So I think that at the end of the day, it supports how you work, and it helps you not to be like burnout.
Yeah, totally agree. And my advice is join a community. If you are a creator, you must sometimes it's really hard work all day every day on your art or creating stuff. So my advice is join a community. If you are illustrator, join an illustration community in your city or in your country. It's really helpful. Even the community is online. It's like supportive, and you will find an inspiration there and start a new day with new ideas. So that's my advice.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah.
Great, awesome. And another question, Veronica, to finding passion, and I'm quoting, she says, to finding passion, I would say, ask yourself, in what activities are you losing yourself in a flow? What doesn't take your energy, and in what you have some results? Other recommendations, take a look into Ikigai principles?
Ikigai.
Yeah.
Ikigai, okay. And Lucy also recommended, yes, it's the book that I mentioned earlier about Randy. Sorry, it's a girl, it's not a guy. I said he, my apologies. Thank you for the recommendation, Danielle. Oscar, hello. So how do you see the society at large after this crisis? Do you think working remotely will change work culture?
Yeah, I think so. I think that now as companies more allow or more basically enforce being working remotely, I think that a lot of them will realize first supporting home office might actually work, and that it's not like being at home and doing nothing, because still I can hear this opinion a lot when we are discussing with some other companies. I think that there won't be so many business travels needed, because basically everyone now discovered Zoom. So I guess that, you know, like not for everything, of course, sometimes the personal contact is personal contact, but for a lot of things, it actually makes things so easier. So I think that it will change even like how we work. But at the same time, I can also like hear from our teams that they are so much looking forward to be in the office again, you know, like to have the personal contact, to be with the team, to be in the office, because it's different. Not everyone has the capacity or the possibility to have, you know, at least the table and the chair in the bedroom, as I have. Some people have just like one big bedroom basically, so, and then two kids. So I cannot imagine how they are doing that. They are you know, my heroes. But I think that it will change, and I think that also the way how we work, that we document things more, because you need to write it down when you know, work remotely, and some principles like this will be then like taken as a new normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with Petra. The digitalization will go very faster right now, and I also says that working from home or working remotely is a great benefit, but if you do it all the time, it's starting to be sometimes it might be hard. And so the personal contact is also great. So the balance between working from home and working in the company is the best for me as well.
Yeah. For me, I think that some companies will, like the digitalization process will like make faster and make it better for like younger generations, because like super young people around 15, 16 years old, they are only connected to internet, and what it's not on internet or on like social platforms or on websites, it doesn't exist. So I think that for many companies it will change the business totally. Like they now realize that they need to have a website, they need to like work on like social platform more. So yeah, I think it will be different in like for many fields. It will be totally different. My like study, I know that I'm talking about it like a lot, but on like in science, these people work only like in analog life, on paper with like pencil. So that's crazy, and they can't share their work without going like traveling by plane or by tram, by train, whatever. So for them it's super difficult now, but they are slowly used to do it like on Zoom, something like that. So yeah, in this field, it's quite a big field, it will be totally different.
Yeah, definitely. I think in any industry, even if you're used to working remotely, it's changed the dynamics. If you're a freelancer, people may have been like, oh, but you're all the way on the other side of the world. I'd rather work with someone who is in my same city. And now, I mean, what difference does it make if you're in the same city or not? Because you can't physically meet with one another. So I think I agree. I definitely think that in some industries, of course, it's going to be affected, or it has been affected much more. But definitely, I think it's affected just about any and every industry and work culture, even if you're a freelancer, an executive, co-founder, like the three of you. Great, awesome. And another question from Anna B. She says, hi all, thanks for sharing. Do you have any tips on prioritizing, managing tasks, or being efficient? I am flooded with emails, priorities mount one over another, so I am having a hard time prioritizing within all the priorities that come from all sides. Thanks.
Well, from my point of view, I very like to do once a year my own prioritizations, what I want to achieve this year, what are my goals and my fields I want to improve. And when it's a hard time to choose the different tasks or projects, I come back to my own goals for this year and just realize what is okay and what is in advanced or what is too much. And for everyday management, I recommend to pick up the most 2 difficult tasks or priorities you have, write them on your paper and really do them at the first things you really want to do during the day, and have some time slots for emails or another applications, but make sure that the most important tasks you will do immediately and plan another important task for another day. This is what works for me.
Yeah, for me, maybe as I'm working a lot with some tools such as Slack or this kind of asynchronous stuff. That was the biggest problem for myself, to basically set it in a way that I don't just go to Slack and do the things from Slack first, just because there is this red icon telling me you have 20 unread messages, because it kind of creates just a false sense of urgency, even though a lot of things from there are not just urgent. So when I kind of balance this, so the emails and Slack, and just really focused on the things that matters, then this helped me a lot. So basically even saying no to someone on Slack, or yes, I will look into this tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, it's something that I had to learn and helped me a lot with prioritizing the stuff. And then another thing, not postponing stuff that I'm not literally looking forward to doing, because what just happened to me was okay, I don't want to do this because it's unpleasant, or I don't want to do this now. But then what happens is that I just, have to think about that stuff all the time. So going in the evening to the bed, I'm actually thinking about that, not that nice stuff I need to do. So I rather learned to do even these things, maybe as a first thing in the morning, or within those difficult tasks that Monika mentioned, basically to get rid of the stuff, even though it's not maybe the most pleasant thing that you should do that day.
Or ask if you have someone who can do the stuff better than you, so you can delegate, or you can join the tasks together with the team.
Yeah, that's actually a good advice as well. I did this mistake earlier when I started to be a manager. I was afraid to put the things on guys, because I thought, okay, I should do it now because I'm the manager. But at the end of the day, I was just blocking them from growing, because then when I shared some new task with them or new opportunity with them, they actually learned something new. So, I just realized, okay, so delegation is actually good stuff. I should do it more. And it's also good for the team. It's not only good for me because I get rid of something, but at the same time, it's good for them. And at the end of the day, they usually do it much better than me. So there is if you can, delegation is a great thing to do, for sure.
When I was starting my creating stuff, so 7 years ago, I was super stressed about emails and paperwork and stuff, because I was thinking that I was working about like 5 hours per day on illustrations. But after that, I started using app Toggle, which track your time, like every minute, every hour, it track your time on your PC or notebook. And I realized that I work much more, like 10, 11 hours per day, because my work is not, because I'm freelancer, so my work is not only like the real crafting, drawing stuff, but emails, self-presenting, doing my websites and things. So emails are work too. You must realize that if you are reading emails, even they are like giant amount of it, it's still work. And don't be harsh on yourself if you are like a little afraid of them.
Thank you. All right, Anna Habova, I'm so sorry. We briefly spoke about it, but it's a little bit slightly different from the question that someone else asked. So Anna asked, what are your thoughts on making your passion/hobby your job? Do you have any tips how to deal with or avoid your passion to become too much of a burden job? So kind of similar to, you know, what happens when your job is your passion or hobby, but it's a slightly different, because what are your thoughts about making it into your job?
Well, I believe it starts with to realize your filter. Every time we do some filters about our job, about our dreamed company, so you need to realize basically first who you are, what values you have, what skills you know, and what are you like to do. And after that, realize the other side, who is your employer, who is your co-funding member, who is your client. Is he the same, or he is making a team because he's a little bit different? You are some quite good mix together. And after that, just go and try. Just leave your some fears or afraid of doing mistakes behind, and just trying. You can start with a little bit. I like to do just small steps, not to do like big stuff and big goals right now, but split your work to small steps and show your work, what are you doing, to the audience, to the people, and take some feedbacks as well, cooperate with others, and you will see what happened, and just improving step by step.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your questions. I think it was even more insightful and a great addition to the actual panel talk itself. So thank you all for participating and for enjoying this talk. And again, thank you to our three speakers. The three of you were wonderful. Thank you for your time. So right now, I would actually like to announce that we will be starting the breakout sessions in about a minute or two. So if you want to stick around for those, and if you have some maybe more questions that you would like to ask fellow audience members, please feel free to continue to stay on. And if not, we would like to once again thank you on behalf of myself, on behalf of Femme for taking the time on your Tuesday evening. And we hope that you all stay safe, stay healthy, and let's make the best out of this situation that we're all in now, and make work-life integration a positive thing. So thank you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.